I'll start with you. That first 4.5 minutes of the game, you were out there. What went right for them and wrong for you guys from where you stood?
I felt like we weren't playing disciplined defense, doing all the things we were taught, like closing out hard, forcing to the baseline, all them things. And we didn't have enough energy. That's what it really felt like.
Was their defense really aggressive, energetic? Was it pushing you out of what you wanted to do in that first 4.5 minutes?
I think we could have played a lot better offense, but yeah, kind of.
Marlon, you feel like, the game being on ESPN2, was that in your guys' mind at all? You think you came out a little tight, maybe a little too pumped up?
That's never on our minds, We don't care if it's on any type of station. We just go out to play. We try to win. That's nothing but distraction, so we just block that out the way.
Any other questions for Marlon or Brent? All right, thanks, guys.
No problem.
Take care, guys.
You too, Coach. No problem.
Gary, how was this similar or dissimilar to what happened at their place?
Same thing. They went out 12 zip on us. This was 10 zip.
No, this was 12. I think that was 14 then.
14. Is it all the
It was
sound the
some
same
zip.
like that? But let me just say this: they didn't beat us today. We beat ourselves. I'm gonna be honest with you. We scored 72 points. If we score 72 on anybody, we win. We didn't play any defense, number one, and I put that on me. That has nothing to do with them. I told them in the locker room, don't worry about this. Next time we play this team, we will beat this team. Because our defense, we didn't play our defense. We're so worried about a boy that can't shoot and go under screens and all this kind of crap. That ain't who we are. But what it did is allowed him to dribble around and do what he wanted to do. And I put that on me. Not take it off of them. Because I thought 72 points was enough for us to win today. Hear me, we scored 72 points and we missed 8 layups. 8 layups, and I'm telling you, 6 uncontested layups. Nobody was there. This team showed me a major vulnerability for us to play them again. And that's good, that's good. But what I do know is we're getting back to Cleveland State defense. That junk I had seen out there today was the worst junk I ever seen in history. And I told you, I put that on me.
In the start, they really came out shooting hot. Do you attribute that to
That defense.
that defense?
When I tell you this, it was solely that defense.
How do you differentiate between them having great ball movement and you having poor defense?
Well, that's what they do. That's who they are. They're gonna move that ball. Certain teams are like that, and they're like that. They're gonna move that ball, and and see, because they're not running a pattern. What they're doing is they're moving. They got 4 guys on the outside, and they're cutting and moving. And then at one point, and which makes their defense kind of difficult, their 5-man can go screen anybody he wants to and roll to the basket. So when you try to pick him up, somebody else is open. So you really have to focus in on this. And what we didn't do, we could have guarded this team so much easier. When I tell you this, we could have guarded this team. When I looked at just points of the game and things that were going on, we could have guarded it. Hear me. I'm going to tell you something else that occurred. We trying to get back in it, and we're pressing. We gave up 4 uncontested layups in the press. If we just stay in front of them, and you know why I know this, we play this is going to be a totally different game? We're so concerned about them shooting threes. The only person on their team that shoots a percentage threes is Brokaw. And I looked at that when I was in the locker room. The only one that shoots a percentage. The rest of them shoots 31, 32, 30, but they shoot 45, 46% from the field. So what does that say? They make a lot of layups. You give them layups, they'll beat you. So you got to take away their layups and make them beat you. That's what you have to do.
Brennan played basically the entire game. Is that because you felt like you needed his offense?
That was all it was. Because I didn't need his defense. So it was all about offense. It was about offense. But I'm gonna say this: Bren was working hard on defense, and I don't think he gave up many things anyway. I'm disappointed in myself, put it like that, because we could have played this game so much better. And I hated to give away 72 points. We don't get 72 too often now. And I gave up 72 points and let a team off the hook. Now I didn't like a lot of stuff that went on out there that really I struggled with, which kept us at bay. But I ain't gonna get into that. I'm gonna leave that up to your imagination.
I don't pretend to be an expert at this. You're the expert. But over the years, it's been my observation that you look at the first 4 or 5 minutes of a game, all things being equal, that in that first 4 or 5 minutes, when everybody's kind of playing at a high motor, that it's really about the talent and cohesion of the team.
I would agree.
That's worked for you more often than it's worked against you.
Right.
With your teams. Do you think that had something to do
Well,
with it?
it had a lot to do with it. I mean, we're young. We're going to, things like that, they're going to be uptight. They're going to be tensed in situations like that. I know that. But one thing I do know, if a team makes a run on you at the beginning of a game, in the early going like that, it usually comes back to where you're nearly even. And we didn't do that today. And that was because we didn't defend them. They always had that cushion. It was about 10, 8, 12 points. And we never got back in it. At their place, they were up 12-0, and in the first 10 possessions. The next 10 possessions it's 12 to 15. So we got back in it. We didn't get back in it this game, and I told you, I put that on me. Our defense was the wrong defense.
Even though, as you've explained to us, that the circumstances of digging the hole this time were perhaps different than the last one, just as a human being, did you look up at that scoreboard when it's 12-0 and saying, isn't this a movie I've seen before?
No, because it shouldn't have been 12-0. It should have been 12-6. We missed 3 layups. I mean, breakaway layups by yourself. I get my nephew out there that he can make that. I mean, come on now. I mean, you can only do so much in those regards. Now, sometimes those will happen, and you got to overplay them. But they can't continue to happen. And that's in that game, we had segments where we would just constantly miss layup after layup, and what it does is it melts you down. You feel that you can't. It's a mountain too big to climb, and that's where we were at many times in this game. I'm not taking the credit from them because they did a great job of moving the ball and getting to the open guys when we overplayed them, and that only became because we're in desperate mode trying to get back in it, but. I feel bad about what occurred, but I don't feel bad about going to the tournament.